Well, since you left us, very little change getting into the closing stages now. Dixon Scientific, number 50, Bob Baker and Kevin Hort, lying fifth. 74 seconds, though, behind these two race leaders, Nick Barsh and Peter Anstis. Bob Reeder's gone. Andy Graham and Gittings, then, have moved up to second. But Barsh, so smooth on the whole of this course, has converted that rhythm into a 30-second advantage over Gittings with just around 3 miles to go. And one lap down, but in the lower division, the Mercury-powered Tintorera, Stuart Attlee still running away from the opposition. And the best of those is Sanderson, and he's 4 seconds short of 2 minutes adrift now. Mark Graham over the shoulder, but he needn't worry, they're all out of sight. And there is Bob Reeder, making the painfully slow trek back to the pits, robbed once again of valuable points by his engine. And the great scrap here that's been going on for some while, Robert McCarthy near side, Ian Vautier far side. And they've been like that for around 3 laps. Identical boats, Ring 18s, identical engines, Mercury XR2s, and identical performances, almost. McCarthy just pulling away with the edge. In a quality fill, this is for 7th place. And the local boys, for whom little has gone right on the day, just 2 points all season for the Guernsey winners of '94. Spirited run in here, though, trying to salvage something. Oh, and we're back with the girls again. Number 49, Sharon Attlee and Jackie Porter, led on lap 1, still leading 11 laps later. Just over 50 miles per hour, the average speed, and 63 seconds in front of Nigel and John Burke, who've gone ahead of Ricky Studley. But more importantly for Sharon, over 2 minutes ahead of her husband. And keeping it in the family, that's brother-in-law Stuart. He goes by, still leading B. But no significant change for number 50, Bob Baker and Kevin Hort. Still 5th in A, averaging 68.7 compared with Barsh's 70.3. But they have got the longer, heavier boat, more suited to the rougher conditions. Oh, while finding something a little more to liking there, having to fight to keep upright. And what a good day for this pair. Number 70, Derek Basham and Lindsay Walker back into 3rd past Blacker. Well, Walker sat in the back there throughout the race. That can't be comfortable, but it's got them ahead of this pair. Perhaps we should name them Basham and Bruisem. The gap, though, only 4 seconds, but it could be enough to send the '94 champions home with just 3 points. Well, there's Basham beginning his run in, about a mile to go. Comfortably ahead now, almost 40 seconds. Can allow himself the luxury at last of slowing down a little, and will surely now take another precious 9 points back to Cornwall. The Giddings brothers look favourite for 6 on a day when the quicker hydrolift might have been favourite for 9. However, with Barsh in one of his more relevant moves, 6 is probably a good haul for the transport boys. And that's Anderson with Paul Scott hanging on. Well, actually, he's trying to get out. 3 boys left for them, just 1 for these, though. That's the one at the finish. After fraction of 47 minutes and 19 seconds, Nick Barsh and Peter Anstis, Samsung cameras, take the checkered flag. Oh, control there. That's the Rendell brothers, I think. Look to have taken an early dip. Miserable end to their day. But celebrations here. Barsh and Anstis, Giddings and Gittings, the beneficiaries of a successful day. The scoreboard confirming impressive 2nd win of the season for the Cornish pair. A clear 30 seconds ahead of Andrew and Graham Gittings, who in the end held off Basham and Walker by just 1 second. In B, Stuart Attlee and Mark Graham had an easy day, always in control. While Ian Sanderson and Paul Scott, never in control, held off the challenge of Robert Hunt and Dave Leach for 2nd. And in C, the girls held on in spite of a late burst of energy from Nigel and John Burke. So, where was Sharon's husband? A mere 4th. He's no problem, she says. And this was the ex-champion on the comeback.
Now, of course, you lost the championship last year for the first time in 7 years, but looking good again, isn't it?
Long way to go yet, Peter, but we've got off to a good start, certainly, yeah. We're very pleased.
Modest as always, but a good start, certainly. 8 points clear after just 4 races. But Barsh is right. You don't take anything for granted in this game. And he should know. He got caught last year. In B, and that win by Attlee and Graham taking them level at the top with the Archers, leaving Sanderson and Scott to battle it out for 3rd with Hunt and Leach, with Mike Andrews and Simon Lingard 5th. And in C, they were all level this morning, but not anymore. Sharon Attlee eases away from her husband Ian. And just for the record, he was last seen heading towards the pub. Wise move. Welcome to Scotland. This is the West Coast at its most beautiful. Spectacular mountain ranges, countless acres of pineland forests and glens, And nestling between them all on the banks of the famous Holy Loch lies Dunoon, the jewel in the crown. Such a peaceful place normally, but not today. Everyone's rock and rolling with OCR. So after 3 years of basic racing, Dunoon hits the big time. 2 rounds of national championships in one weekend. First on the menu, OCR, and then for afters, a round of the ever-increasingly popular Speed Ski Series. With tremendous support from the Cowell Enterprise Trust and local companies, the event has attracted the leading names, including OCR's multi-A-class champions Nick Bosch and Peter Anstis. Right then, we're kicking off the first of our 2 reports from the weekend with the powerboats. It's a superb race course. The forecast is set fair. Winds in 1, increasing to 3, so a little bit for everyone, as they say. Flat to start, choppier later. And large and enthusiastic crowds as ever then, for an event as much a family-orientated extravaganza as a championship round. And this is what they've all come to see. The 20 fastest offshore circuit races in the country. Round 5 of the 1995 UK National Championships, and they're underway. Ahead then, 15 laps of a pretty tight circuit here. 3.25 miles. Total race distance then, 48.75 miles. Top speed somewhere over 80 miles an hour. Average lap speed 75 to 78 miles per hour. Perfect conditions at the start then for the lighter boats. And Bob Reeder making the most of it in the ultralight Argo. That's the yellow boat on the left of your screen. He just leads from Andy Gittins in the white boat on the right. Bosch, red and white, tucked in behind. Mick Archer on the left, just out of shot. And less than 3 seconds now between the top 10. But it's definitely Reeder who leads. Second in round 2 at All Hallows. Sank at Plymouth. Blew an engine in the next round at Burnham-on-Sea. But once again, proving he's got the quickest boat this year. So, can he go all the way this time and take a maximum? Into the mark then at the end of lap 1 now. And the time, 2 minutes 43. And that's 77.78 miles per hour. And Bosch in there second, I think. So, Reeder away on lap 2 to the next mark. About 10 metres ahead of Gittings, the white boat. So Bosch is in fact third, Archer fourth. Up the home straight for the second time, almost a repeat of the first. Reeder centre stage, flanked by Gittings, Bosch and Olga. Well, it's a little bumpier this time around. The backwash from the walls here are notorious. In 3 years of racing, many have fallen foul on this part of the course. Boat washes hit the wall, bounce back and build up. But Reeder comes through it all. He still leads now. End of lap 2. 2 minutes, 57 seconds, down a little bit then. 75.88 miles per hour. That's the rougher waters. Gittings through in second. 3 minutes dead, 75.52. Bosch there was third. Archer was fourth. So remember, in the A-Class Championship, Bosch leads with 27 points. Gittings is second with 19. Last year's champion, Blacker and Basham, have 12 each. Reeder, though, only 6. He needs them badly. It's 9 points for a win, 6 for a second, 4 for third, 3 for fourth, 2 for fifth, and just 1 for sixth. Well, if it stays like this, Bosch will have 31, Gittings 25. But more importantly, Reeder will leap ahead of Blacker by just 1 point. That's the battle for 10th. A great scrap there between 10, Martin Rendell, and 50, Bob Baker. Back with the lead, though. End of lap 3. Reeder still in front. 2 minutes 59 is 75.29 miles per hour. Slightly down again. That's because the course is still beginning to chop up. But he'll have to be careful because Bosch is past Gittings and closing in. That's Baker and Hoare out. The misery continues. 5 races, 6 points. Back with the lead, and it's Bosch. Or is it? No. Reeder strikes back a superb mark. The number 5 boat was on the rails there. So Reader pulls away again. That's Gittings third, Archer fourth, Basham fifth and Blacker sixth. That's how they stand. And if it stays that way, Barsham now increases lead in the table. Oh, and Reader makes a mess of that while weaving and bobbing here. Well, he almost caught it and almost caught Barsh at the same time. And there's damage on that boat. Well, I wonder if he knows it. Looks back for Barsh. Well, they were both close on a pretty good wipeout there. Now then, Barsh goes after Reader. Oh, and Reader slows down, and Barsh takes the lead. And that's another sad chapter in Reader's 1995 season. And you have to say, he was looking so good up until this. And a chance to look at it once again then. And it's definitely that wash off the wall. Causes all the problems on this part of the course in Dunoon, has so for the last 3 years. Now then, that's it. Takes off the wake, hooks slightly to the right, dips in the nose. Now then, he manages to retain control. We may just see Barsh's boat on the left. Not quite. Look how Reader's having to fight for that. That could have been so very, very nasty. There's Barsh's boat, and that's how close they came to coming together. Well, he's damaged the boat, but I'm sure he'd be pretty glad to have got away with it. And that last lap, incidentally, was 77 miles per hour again. That really does tell the tale. And anyway, we're in with B. That's B36 in the lead. Stuart Attlee with co-driver Mark Gray at Dixon Scientific. The Norwegian-built Tinter leads from B55 Ian Sanderson and B77 Gary Archer. But they all trail these guys. Nick Barsh and Peter Anstis, Samsung Cameras, number 28. New are all leaders. 13 miles of the 48.75 completed now. End of lap, 2 minutes 58 is 75.8 miles per hour. But as Barsh said before the race, nothing in this game's easy.
I like the course here, and the weather should suit it if the forecast is correct. But we've got some very fast boats here, as you know, and the course, I think it's going to favour them because there are not too many sharp turns and the long straights, and they do tend to wind up. So to do well, we're going to have a workout, but we'll try.
Who's your biggest rival, do you think, today?
Well, I would think it's going to be one of the Hydra lifts, and points-wise, the Gittings brothers are going to give, they're closest to us. A win for them would put them in the lead, so I think we've got to be watching them today on a points front. But outside of that, there are two other Hydra lifts and a very fast monohull in the shape of the Argo, so I don't know who's going to win it, but we've got to watch one particular boat.
Well, Barsh's prediction pretty accurate there. The light boats with the early advantage, but he's a class act. And it's he who now leads on lap 5. Oh, that's Archer now into second place, number 60. Power Trucks, he's past Gittings. Just 4 points so far, 95. This could be useful. There's Gittings, second in the table overnight, third here. Disappointed now, I'd suggest. He'll look to close that gap. Now, who's next? That's Blacker. So it's getting choppier. He'll like that. Basham right behind him. So, end of lap 5 for Barsh, 16.25 miles now of the 48.75 miles completed. The lead was 9 seconds at the end of lap 4. We'll check that again here. Where's Archer? Oh, there's Archer. Check on the lead. It's down to 6 seconds. So, Colin Bowler now alongside Archer, sensing they can get something out of this, I think. Back to B class. Stuart Attlee, B36, was the leader, but being pressed by Sanderson. No, that's not Sanderson. That, in fact, is Brian Pedwell. First season in OCR, no points. Plenty of time for him yet. No, there's Sanderson, which means Attlee is still in the lead, and in fact, pulling away again. So a bit to do here for the 55 crew. And right behind them now, Barsh lapping everyone, still with a full head of steam here, and he needs to be. Archer with his new Scandinavian super quick hydro lift with plenty to prove, still breathing down his neck. So Barsh, the 7 times national and once world champion, with a bit to do. Gittings brothers, after that super start, still hold third, making little impression on Archer though. Next is Blacker, and this is Gittings talking about his hydro lift before the race.
We moved to the hydrolift mainly to try another type of boat in this type of racing. It's quite light in construction, so that favours us a little bit, but it also it's quite a beamy boat. Due to this, the air coming along, lifts the boat out of the water and tries to help it out of the water, if you like, to maintain a higher speed.
Is it better in rough or smooth water?
At the moment, smooth.
You haven't had any rough races?
No, we haven't really tried it in the rough, but...
But he will. Back to the race, and Barsh's lead still diminishing. Oh, and almost extinguished there. Oh, bitterly complaining about something. The wash of the boat. Archer behind almost goes as well. Well, here comes Giddings and Blacker. We're on Blacker. Whoa, he got through it just no problem. Oh, but Basham's gone. Surely is number 70 Basham. Yes, it is. Well, he hit the same wake, and his boat's going to go down, I think. There's no way back for that one. Disappears completely out of sight. Well, what desperately bad luck. Let's take a slow motion replay on that. Well, Peter Ast is saying something, and I don't think it's 1 lap to go. They don't like that. Oh, and Barsh got away with it. Kept the boat straight. That was the art. Peter Ast is not a happy man in the back. Well, certainly a wash from someone's boat. Anyway, they're away, but look at Archer. Oh, he took the hook in exactly the same way Reader did. And look, the damage on the boat. Now, he's got a hole there. Now, that's only going to get worse as this race goes on. It's above the waterline now, and I doubt if he knows it's there. And Blacker here certainly learning from those ahead. The wash certainly had flattened down a bit, but he eased up a bit also. And him and Andy Giddings got through it quite safely. But not so Derek Basham and his new navigator, Jackie Porter. Chasing Ian Blacker, trying to get back that 4th position, and that's the result. No boat. Nick Barsh here thundering towards the penultimate lap, still at around 80 miles per hour. Last 4 laps, 76.24, 77.13, 77.02 and 77.63. Amazingly consistent and back to his best. But there's Archer, hoping his heart and the sole of his boot flat on the floor, stays within 6 seconds of Barsh, with Blacker closing in now to within 5 seconds. Giddings was second, now 4th, but more to the point, 15 seconds behind Blacker. So little chance of 3rd here, and if Barsh wins, the deficit of his 2nd position will increase from 8 to 12 points. Dave Wilcock, number 6 Interlink Express is 5th, 3rd in 94. Just 2 points so far in 95. 2 more here, but Auger threatens, 97, just 2 seconds behind. Robert McCarthy, 91, 7th, no points so far in 95. None here either, unless he can do something about it. And the man who's the favourite in these parts has attended every basic race here since it began. Oh, what a big splash there, and that was number 10. Yes, Martin Rendleton, another bright prospect in the shiny new look Powerboat Championship this year. He's 8th. And 9th, and 34 seconds behind Rendell. Still no luck in 95 for Mark Greenaway and new co-driver Cathy House. The distinctive Argo rides well enough. He just needs an extra mile per hour. B-class now. And no one's found a way past Stuart Atley. He's been paramount since lap 1, averaging 58.41 miles per hour in the 1800cc division. And that's good going. Well, I was going to say, where's Sanderson? There he is, and he's certainly tried in this race, but he's looking more and more like a second to go with the 2 he had at All Hallows and Burnham-on-Sea in round 4. And it's 3rd for joint overnight championship leaders Gary and Angela Archer, the husband and wife team. They failed to match Atley's searing pace, as has Sanderson. Oh, there's trouble there. Not quite sure how it is. Yes, I am now. That's number 3, Graham Hastings, upside down. Well, 1 crew member up. Oh, there's the 2nd, so all's well, although Graham Hastings may not agree with that. This is Barsh then, last lap, still hotly pursued by Mick Archer. Well, he was closing in, so where is Archer? There's Archer. Now I make the gap 9 seconds, so he's dropping back again with under 2 miles to go. Let's take another look at the demise of Hastings and Wood. Well, we didn't catch the original calls, but I put my money here on another of those funny washes they get here. The hook and the unpredictable chop has caused problems throughout. Into the last mark then goes Barsh and Anstis, still trying to withstand that final assault from Archer. And that's the gap. Barsh left, Archer right. No lack of commitment here in either camp. Barsh, red and white Phantom, just a touch lower than Archer's high lift. That's in a straight line, but Barsh's resolve to win back title in 95 is going to make up for that. These two hold that tiny advantage, will cross the line first to record his third win. Archer's second. And the 1995 champion, Ian Blacker, it got rougher, but not rough enough. So he takes 4 points. The scoreboard. So Barsh and Anstis take 9, when they might have settled for less. Archer and Bowler record a best of season and something like no form, but the 94 champion drops further back. In B, Attlee and Graham were never really seriously threatened, finishing impressive 1 minute and 4 seconds ahead of Sanderson and Scott. But while they all enjoyed a hatful, for others it was merely a boatful. Bob Reeder went first on lap 3. His dream of 9 points ended in a nightmare.
We were pushing a bit harder than we should have been to try and get away from Nick because he was very close up behind us, and we just pushed too hard in the wrong place. And well, broke it. we hit something. We hit the water very hard, and it just pushed the side of the boat in.
And for Graham Hastings and Jeff Wood, a slightly different version with a slightly different result. This is total roly-poly. And it all ended up for Jeff Wood with his nose in a sling. But please don't laugh.
Well, we just caught a wave badly. We hit another wave, which was even worse. And then I was thrown to one side and landed in the water. And I think the collective weight of both of us going to one side was just the tipping point.
And there was me expecting them to say,
actually, I dug the nose in and that caused all the problems.
But he didn't. This was the overall winner.
Very, very tricky, Dave. 2 races in one, really. Started out very flat, and we thought we'd have difficulty catching the faster boats. And then middle part of the race, it seemed to lump up a bit, and we closed the gap. And later on, it became very, very tricky, and I think we were a little lucky to hang on to the lead. We're not really a rough weather specialist, but it all worked out well. We ended up, I guess, with an intermediate race, and we were an intermediate boat.
Intermediate maybe, but sufficient to put Barsh and Anstis 14 points clear of nearest rivals Andy and Graham Gittings, and 20 clear of Ian and Andrew Blacker, who dared to take their crown in 1994. Well, in B it's a little closer. Attlee just 5 now ahead of the Archers, with whom they held the overnight lead. But watch out for the exuberant pairing of Ian Sanderson and Paul Scott in third. The superb West Country resorts, together with 650 miles of varied and spectacular coastline, have long been a great attraction for tourists from both home and away.